Hello students, this is Aisha, your English teacher, and today we are going to start a new chapter from English First Flight, and this new chapter related to a poem, a beautiful poem, The Tale of Custard the Dragon. So first of all, I would like to tell you something about this poem. This poem is written in the style of a ballad, a song or poem that tells a story. You must be familiar with ballads that narrate tales of courage or heroism. This poem is a humorous ballad close to a parody. Read it aloud, paying attention to the rhythm. So, now I would like to tell you something about the poet of this poem, whose name is Ogden Nash, wrote over 400 pieces of comic verse. The best of his work was published in 14 volumes between 1931 and 1972. His work is perhaps best described in this poetic tribute by Anthony Burgess. He brought a new kind of sound to our literary diversion and didn't care much about breaking the poetic laws of the Medes and the Persians. He uses lines sometimes of considerable length that are comical and parody, and at the end presents you with the rhythm. This bringing together of the informal and the formal is what his genius chiefly loves. I'm trying to imitate him here, but he is probably quite inimitable. This poem is written in the style of a ballad, a song or poem that tells a story. You must be familiar with ballads that narrate tales of courage or heroism. This poem is a humorous ballad close to a parody. So let's start now. Let's come to the first stanza of the poem. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and a really truly little pet dragon. So first of all, we are talking about Belinda. She is a little girl and she is a human being, and the poet wants to say that Belinda is a human being and she used to live in a white house, and she has a black kitten, the baby of a cat, and she has a baby of a cat of black color and a little grey mouse, and she has also a mouse whose color is grey, and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon, and she has also a dog whose color is as yellow as the mustard, and a little red wagon. What is the meaning of this word wagon? So the meaning of this word red wagon, a vehicle used for transporting goods or another specified purpose. You can say you have seen in the malls the trolleys, these are called wagons also. So he is saying that she has a wagon of red color and a Rielu. What is the meaning of Rielu? Rielu stands for real and Trulio stands for true. And the poet wants to say that Belinda also has a pet dragon which is very real and true to all. Let's move to the next stanza of the poem. Now let's move to the next stanza of the poem. Now the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the little grey mouse she called him Blink, and the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard, but the dragon was a coward and she called him Custard. So here the poet wants to say that Belinda used to call them by their names, and now the name of the little black kitten, and she has given the name to the baby of the cat as Ink, and the little grey mouse, and she called him Blink, and she has given the name to the grey mouse as Blink, and the little yellow dog, and for the dog she used to call as Mustard, just because his color is as yellow as the mustard. But the dragon was a coward. But in this stanza of the poem, poet wants to say that dragon is described in this line as it is covered. It is not, it should be a ferocious and it should be very strongest, but now here in this line he described it as a covered, and Belinda used to call him as Custard. So let's move to the next stanza of the poem. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, mouth like fireplace, chimney for a nose, and really truly daggers on his toe. So here some words are spikes. What is the meaning of spikes? Thin pointed surface, just like it you can say. This is called spike. And what's the meaning of scales? Thin bony plates protecting the skin of fish and reptiles, as you have used to see that underneath of the reptiles you can see the scales. And another word is fireplace, an outdoor structure of brick, stone or metal, an open fire. And next word is dagger, a sharp knife. So let's start now. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth. Here the poet wants to say that the dragon had very sharp teeth in his mouth, even then it is looking like a coward, and spikes on top of him and scales underneath. And the dragon had, here in this stanza the poem, in this stanza of the poem, the poet describes the dragon and he is giving the description of the dragon, that how he was looking. So, and spikes on top of him, and at the top of his skin he has spikes and a very sharp this type of structure, and scales underneath, and he has scales under his body. Mouth like a fireplace, and his mouth is looking like a fireplace just because the fire is coming out of his mouth, as you have already seen that dragon used to take out the fire from their mouths. So here he is comparing his mouth as the fireplace and chimney for a nose, and he is the poet saying that his nose is looking like a chimney, and he used to take out the smoke from his nose, and really truly and again real and true a sharp knife in his toes, and his toes are looking like a sharp knife to him. Let's move to the next stanza of the poem. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears, and ink and blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard tried for a nice safe cage. So here in this stanza of the poem, the poet tried to give the description of Belinda and his friends, like the kitten, the dog and the mouse and the dragon also. So here the poet compares Belinda as brave as a barrel full of. So what is the meaning of barrel? A type of a drum which is full of bears. He says that Belinda is looking like as brave as a barrel full of bears. And ink and blink chased. Chased, hunt. What is the meaning of chased? It meaning hunt, to hunt lions down the stairs. And ink and blink are looking like they are so brave that they are going to hunt a lion, and they are following a lion to hunt. And next line, Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage. And the Mustard was the name of his dog. So he is saying that Mustard was looking as brave as a tiger is always in rage, in anger. Mustard is looking as brave as whenever tiger is in his anger, then it is looked. But Custard cried for a nice safe cage, and the Custard is the name of that dragon who is coward, and he always used to cry for a safe place, for a safe cage, just because they used to tease him always. So here the name ink, she has given ink stands for the baby of the cat, and blink stands for the grey mouse, and mustard stands for dog, and the custard stands for the dragon. So let's move to the next stanza of the poem. Belinda tickled him unmerciful, and ink, blink, and mustard they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon, and the really truly cowardly dragon. So what is the meaning of tickle? Lightly touch in a way that causes mild discomfort or itching and often laughter, and you can say teased. And another word is unmerciful. The meaning of that word we can take here, cruel. Percival. Who is Percival? Percival is the name of the knight in King Arthur's court, who is very coward. So here the poet wants to say Belinda tickled him. Him stands for the dragon, the coward dragon, and tickled him unmerciful. Here the poet wants to say Belinda always used to tease the dragon, and she tickled him very cruel. She is very cruel to that dragon. And ink, blink, and mustard they rudely called him Percival. And ink, blink, and mustard, ink, the baby of the cat, Blink, the grey mouse, and the mustard, the dog of Belinda. They used to call him as Percival, just he is as coward as Percival in the court of King Arthur. So they all sat laughing in the little red wagon, and they always used to sit in the red wagon, and they always used to laugh at little dragon, at the really truly cowardly dragon, and they used to laugh at cowardly dragon. Let's move to the another stanza of the poem. Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and blinked shed Beck, which is giggling for a mouse. Ink and mustard rudely asked his age, when custard cried for a nice safe cage. Giggled means to laugh, and Beck sound made by the mouse. And Beck is a sound which is made by the mouses. And here the poet wants to say Belinda always used to giggle, used to laugh as, and whenever she laughs, it is looking like her house is shaking. And Belinda said Beck, which is giggling for a mouse. And mouse is also used to laugh at the dragon. Ink and mustard rudely asked his name, and ink and mustard always used to ask him about his age, what is his age, and how much old he is. And when custard cried for a nice safe cage. And after teasing it, when a dragon becomes very ferocious to them, then he cried for a safe place, and he said Belinda to keep him to a safe place, just because he is feeling uncomfortable with them. Let's move to the another stanza of the poem. Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and mustard growled, and they all looked around. Mew, cried Ink, and ooh, cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. So here, nasty. What is the meaning of this word? Nasty. Nasty means bad or unpleasant. And there another word is growled, bark, the bark of the dog. And another word is pirate. Pirate. So what is the meaning of this word pirate? Pirate, a person who robs ships in the sea, and you can say a robber who robs the ships. And here in this poem, the poet wants to say suddenly they heard a nasty sound. They heard a very bad, unpleasant sound, and and mustard growled. Mustard started to bark there, and they all looked around. They used to look around who is there and what is going on there. Mew, cried Ink, who is the baby of the kitten, who is kitten, and who is the baby of the cat. He started mew mew, and ooh, Belinda, cried Belinda, and Belinda started crying by ooh, for there was a pirate. When they see there is a robber of a ship climbing in the window. And what is the meaning of this word window? So window stands for window, and to maintain the rhyming words, here the poet calls window as window. So he says that he saw a pirate at the window of this ship. Then they used to cry, and Mustard started barking, Mouse started ran away from there, and now. So let's have a look. यहाँ पोएट कहना चाहता है कि फर्स्ट स्टैंजा में पोएट कहना चाहता है कि बेलिंडा एक सफ़ेद घर में रहती है, उसके साथ एक किटन, एक बिल्ली का बच्चा रहता है, एंड ए लिटिल ग्रे माउस, और ग्रे कलर का एक चूहा रहता है, एंड ए लिटिल येलो डॉग, और येलो कलर का एक कुत्ता रहता है, एंड ए लिटिल रेड वैगन, और उनके पास एक ट्रॉली है जो सामान रखने के लिए होती है, वो उनके पास एक रेड कलर की ट्रॉली है, एंड रियली ट्रॉली, और उनका एक बहुत ही रियल और ट्रू पैट है जो कि एक ड्रैगन है। एंड वो कैसा है, वो ऐसे दिखाई देता है जैसे कि वो एक कॉवर्ड है। लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ। नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा। सो नाउ द नेम ऑफ द लिटिल ब्लैक किटन वॉज इंक। उसने क्या किया है, उसने अपने लिटिल किटन को इंक नाम दिया है, जो बेबी है कैट का, उसको उसने इंक नाम दिया है। एंड द लिटिल ग्रे माउस, और उन्हें ग्रे माउस को नेम दिया है ब्लिंक। एंड द लिटिल येलो डॉग, और छोटे पीले कुत्ते को उसने एज मस्टर्ड नाम दिया है, क्योंकि उसका ऐसे पीला कलर है जैसे कि एक मस्टर्ड का पीला कलर होता है। बट द ड्रैगन वॉज कॉवर्ड, लेकिन यहाँ पर पोएट ने जो है इस ड्रैगन को एक कॉवर्ड के रूप में स्टैंड किया है, एंड शी कॉल्ड हिम कस्टर्ड, और वो उसे कस्टर्ड कहकर बुलाती है। लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा। कस्टर्ड, द ड्रैगन हैड बिग शार्प टीथ। जो ड्रैगन है जिसका नाम कस्टर्ड है, उसके बहुत ही नोकीले से दांत हैं, एंड स्पाइक्स, और उसकी पीठ पर नोकीली सी एक सतह बनी हुई है, एंड स्केल्स अंडरनीथ, और उसके नीचे की स्किन पर स्केल्स बने हुए हैं, जो कि रेप्टाइल्स की स्किन पर आपने ऑलवेज देखे होंगे, on the skin of the fishes and other reptiles, crocodiles, and mouth like a fireplace here. जो कवि है वो ये कहना चाहता है कि ड्रैगन का मुंह जो है एकदम फायर प्लेस की तरह दिखता है, क्योंकि हमेशा आग उससे बाहर निकलती रहती है। चिमनी फॉर अ नोज, एंड उसकी नाक जो है वो एकदम चिमनी की तरह निकलती है, जिसको वो धुआं बाहर निकालने के लिए यूज़ करता है। एंड रियली ट्रूली डैगर्स ऑन हिज टोज, और उसके जो टोज हैं वो एकदम शार्प नाइफ की तरह दिखाई देते हैं। लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पेज, नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा ऑफ द पोएम। बेलिंडा tickled him, बेलिंडा टिकल्ड हिम अनमर्सीफुल, और बेलिंडा उसे हमेशा तंग करती रहती है, उसे चिढ़ाती रहती है, और उसके साथ बहुत क्रूअली व्यवहार करती है। इंक, ब्लिंक एंड मस्टर्ड दे रूडली कॉल्ड हिम पर्सिबल, और जो इंक ब्लिंक हैं वो हमेशा उसको पर्सिबल कहकर बुलाते हैं, बहुत रूडली उससे बात करते हैं, उसको बहुत ही रूडली पर्सिबल कहकर बुलाते हैं, क्योंकि वो जो है वो एक एकदम से एक पर्सिबल एक उस नाइट का नाम है जो किंग आर्थर की आर्मी में कभी बहुत कावर्ड के रूप में हुआ करता था, इसलिए वो उसको पर्सिबल कहकर बुलाते हैं। दे ऑल सेट लाफिंग इन द लिटिल रेड वैगन, वो हमेशा अपने रेड कलर की जो वैगन है, जो सामान उठाने के लिए ट्रॉली होती है, उसमें बैठ जाते हैं, और उसमें बैठकर हमेशा ड्रैगन की हंसी बनाते रहते हैं, मजाक करते रहते हैं, उस पर हंसते रहते हैं, क्योंकि वो उसे एक कवर्ड की तरह ट्रीट करते हैं। एंड द रियली ट्रूली कवर्डली ड्रैगन, और जो रियली ट्रूली कवर्डली ड्रैगन है इसलिए वो उस पर हंसते हैं। नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा। बेलिंडा गिगल टिल शी शूक द हाउस, और बेलिंडा इतनी ज़ोर ज़ोर से आवाज़ करके हंसती है, इतना हंसती है ऐसा दिखता है जैसे कि उसका पूरा घर हिल रहा हो। एंड ब्लिंक सेट वैग विच इज़ किकिंग फॉर अ माउस, और ब्लिंक जो है, वैग जो है वो जो माउस के द्वारा जो निकाली हुई आवाज़ होती है उसको वैग कहते हैं। और हमेशा जो ग्रे माउस है वो भी उसके ऊपर हंसता रहता है। इंक और मस्टर्ड हमेशा उससे उसकी एज के बारे में पूछते रहते हैं और उसको इस तरह से चिढ़ाते रहते हैं ड्रैगन को। सो वैन कस्टर्ड क्राइड फॉर अ नाइस सेफ केज, इसलिए जो है कभी कभी तंग आकर ड्रैगन जो है अपने लिए एक सेफ प्लेस की डिमांड करता है बेलिंडा से, और वो एक सेफ जगह पर जाकर रहना चाहता है। लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्टैंजा, सडनली दे हेयर्ड ए नेस्टी साउंड, अचानक से क्या होता है, अल्टीमेटली सडनली उनको एक बहुत ही अनप्लेजेंट साउंड सुनाई देती है, जिसे एंड मस्टर्ड ग्राउल, मस्टर्ड क्या करता है, बार्क करना स्टार्ट कर देता है, वो भौंकना शुरू कर देता है। मस्टर्ड इज द नेम ऑफ हिज डॉग, ऑफ हर डॉग। सो मस्टर्ड क्या करता है, बार्किंग करना स्टार्ट कर देता है। एंड दे ऑल लुक्ड अराउंड, और वो सब चारों तरफ देखने लगते हैं। जो इंक है, द बेबी ऑफ द कैट एंड किचन, वो म्याऊ म्याऊ करना स्टार्ट कर देती है, और बेलिंडा बहुत ज़ोर से की आवाज़ निकालकर चिल्लाती है। फॉर देयर वॉज अ पायरेट, पायरेट क्या होता है, एक रॉबर होता है जो कि शिप को रॉब्स करते हैं। तो वो देखते हैं कि वहाँ पर एक पायरेट है जो कि उनकी विंडो पर चढ़कर आ गया है। सो आई थिंक दिस इज इनफ फॉर टुडे, वी विल स्टार्ट इट बाय द नेक्स्ट वीडियो। थैंक यू सो मच क्लास, स्टे सेफ।